Yo, so Tron Ares. Man, a little bit late, but I finally got to go and check it out, people. Whew, boy, oh boy, right? So this is directed by Joachim Rønning. You know, it is written by Jesse Wigutow. The film is produced by who have we got? Justin Springer, Jeffrey Silver, Emma Ludbrook, Steve Leisberger, Sean Bailey, and Jared Leto. It is co-produced by Liza Dennis, Adam Horowitz, Mira Jogani, Edward Kitsis, Adrian Soul, and Donald Sparks. It's executive produced by who have we got? Russell Allen, Atticus Ross, right? Trent Reznor, and Joseph Kosinski. It is also associate produced by Samantha Lynn Dickinson and Donna Glazer Hancock. We have got Jeff Cronenweth on cinematography. The score, once again, right? Trent Reznor and Atticus Ross. But interestingly enough, this is the first one, right, where they actually went by, you know, the 9 Inch Nails moniker, right? So we have got Tyler Nelson editing the piece, right? Dylan Jury and Deborah Zane took care of the casting. We have got Darren Gifford on production design. Art direction is Patrick Bannister, Chris Beach, Jason Corgan Brown, Denise Hudson, Robert Andrew Johnson, Kirsten Maloney, Grant van der Slot, and Benoit Waller. Elizabeth Wilcox is set decoration. Costume design, we have Christine Bislin Clark, Alex Friedberg. Hair and makeup, Sierra Allen, Corey Bacon, Naomi Backstad, Jenny Chow, James Churchill, Judy DeBaz, Evelyn Felicino, Camille Friend, Love Larson, Toby Lindala, Eloise Loxton, Sabrina Machu, Heather McClellan, Donald Mawat, Angela Peraletta, Emil Quick, Carly Strosher, Miranda Upton, Darnell Wood, Vince Yoshida, and Ali Pavlovich. So we then have got, let's have a look at our stunt situation. It's always so far down on the page, people. All right, it becomes a little bit of a mission, but you know, I feel these people definitely deserve to get their props because, you know, without the stunt guys, right, we wouldn't have some of the incredible scenes and shit that we see, you know. Dum 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 dum. Boy, we are going. But yeah, it's always so far down. Let's see what we can find. Jeez. I think it's because the VFX is so long. Because, boy, I mean, you wouldn't have this film without VFX, right? And the VFX is very good. But we will get to that, people. Do not worry on that front. Okay. Jeez, people. This is pretty crazy. And it's not like you can load this shit up in a different page to make it easier, which definitely would be a good thing, you know. I need to build a better system, but anyway, we are finally here. So on stunts, we have Trevor Addy, Brett Armstrong, Douglas Armstrong, Marcus Aurelio, Nicholas Barrick, Krista Bell, Chad Bellamy, Guy Buse, Curtis Barconier, Byron Briscoe, Mig Boona Cruz, Mustafa Bullet, Jenin Carlton, Adam Chase, Tommy Clark, Brent Connolly, Chad Cosgrove, Garvin Cross, Crystal Dowman, Dwayne Dickinson, Nick Dunstey, James Eddy, Vesna Ennis, Tommy Europe, Bill Ferguson, Kevin 14, Valerie Frazier, Corey Glass, Evelyn Gonda, Yvette Gonda, Lars Grant, Graham Guthrie, Leif Havdale, Adrian Hine, Brian Chu, Jess Horn, Dave Hospes, Greg Hospes, Kim Howie, Louise Hadrusky, Ernie Jackson, David Jackox, Erica T. Johnson, John Kraut, Donovan Krull, Alex Krajkovic, Ophia Laducour Nugent, Rob Lane, Cody Lorden, Don Liu, Brad Laurie, JJ Macron, Hugh Matasut Hister, Joshua Mazzello, James Michalopoulos, Atlin Mitchell, Gaston Morrison, Sean Morrissey, Matthew Mylera, Chase Nicholson, Sawyer Nicholson, Rochelle Ockey, Jared Patz, Rick Pierce, Chase Pengilly, Adrian Persad, Mark Rayner, Rhiannon Roberts, Sean Robidoux, Ella Rogers, Scott Rogers, Jeff Sanka, Quentin Schneider, Martin Schuster, Todd Scott, Mizelle Lucosta Serra, Sharon Sims, Raphael Sola, Hugo Steele, Heath Stevenson, Alex Steins, Tom Stroopers, Kaya Stewart, Monty Thompson, Jolene Van Voot, Samilia Vassell, Caesar Rene Vigny, Marshall Virtue, Brennan Wallstrom, Chris Webb, Reese Williams, Lindsay Halsey, Tristan Wolsey, Matthew Yanagaya, Lydia Yu. Right, all did tremendous work, right? So then, people, we get to, oh man, the cast. And the cast was really, really freaking good, I will say. You know, I think everyone fit the roles, right? And everyone really, you know, fit their roles and just delivered on a lot of levels, which is always a great thing, right? So we have got Greta Lee as Eve Kim, right? The CEO of ENCOM. Then her sister. Okie dokie. Actually, I know I can find her sister here in this other place. Okie dokie. Sometimes I wonder why they don't list these things together, because it makes sense, right? Put the family together, right? So Tess Kim, right, Eve's sister, is played by Celine Yun. A younger version of Eve is played by Myro Kim, and Nasha Kim plays a younger version of Tess. We have got Arturo Castro as Eve's boyfriend, Seth Flores. Right, AJ Singh, who what does AJ? He is Eve's business partner, right? The CTO of ENCOM, and he is played by Hassan Minaji. Then there is Evan Peters, who plays Julian Dillinger, right? The CEO of Dillinger Systems. His mother, right, Elizabeth Dillinger, is played by Gillian Anderson, and Elizabeth, not Elizabeth, sorry, Elizabeth Dillinger. And Elizabeth is also the daughter of Ed Dillinger, right, from the, other films. Right, well, not the first film, the son of Ed Sr., who was in the first film, right? Yeah, it all gets a little bit, but it makes sense. So we have Jeff Bridges back as Kevin Flynn, right? We've got Jared Leto as Ares, MCP, right? Who was created by Julian Dillinger. There is Jodie Turner-Smith, who is Athena, right? She is second in command to Ares. Then we have got Cameron Monaghan, who is Cassius, who is also one of Ares' elite forces. We have got Roger Cross, who works Roger Cross plays Cross, I should say, who's a executive at Dillinger Systems, right? There is General McGrath, played by Rock Critchlow, who is a member of the Dillinger, the military, who kind of checking out things Dillinger has to offer. We have Marcia Lee Hadlow, right, who also is a part of the pitch, right? She's played by Catherine Isabel. Stuart Roche, who's played by Gary Vaynerchuk, right, aka Gary V. He's also at the Dillinger pitch. There is Kwasi Amya, who plays Silvio. We have got, who else is there? Erin, right, who she works at ENCOM. Oh, where is all my info gone? Yeah, she's AJ's assistant at ENCOM. So she's played by Sarah Desjardins. And there's Aaron Paul Stewart, who plays the cybersecurity guard that we see at the start of the film. Who else is there? I think that's all our major players, you know, right? I mean, there's a lot of like staff that we see and everything like that, but I think those are our major players. Now, the gist of the film, right? A highly sophisticated program, Ares, is sent from the digital world into the real world on a dangerous mission. I mean, yeah, it's kind of it, right? It's kind of it. I mean, it's more, there's more to the story than that. But, man, as I said, like, look, Tron Legacy came out in 2010, right? 2010, right? That's when that one dropped. And, yeah, it's like, it was this weird thing because ever since, you know, the first Tron dropped in 82, I think people have always been curious about this universe, right? Like, what are the possibilities? So there'd been so much talk, and finally we got that, you know, sequel in 2010. And then after that, there was the cartoon series that just went one season. And, you know, there'd been talk about Ares off and on. Well, not Ares, but a sequel to Legacy. Like, we heard there was this interesting idea and emerging into the real world and all of this stuff. And so it's like, ooh, this could be cool. And then the writer's strike hit and you just thought, oh, maybe this idea is dead. But boom, it came to life and now it is out in the world. And yo, oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. This was something, right? Because, listen, it's been out nearly a week. And I wasn't able to get to it straight away. But it's crazy because everyone's talking about this film as being a flop. And it not being very good. And there's just so much chatter around, right? Which kind of baffles me. Because I found this film so freaking engrossing, right? Like, it starts off and we've got this kind of old footage of Kevin Flynn talking about the grid and the possibilities of it all and what he envisions this to be. So we go from that, and then we see more kind of archival footage, right, about, you know, what happened to ENCOM, right, and that then the Kim sisters became CEOs, and they reinvigorated the organization. But, right, because if you remember in the first film, we had Ed Dillinger Sr., right, who got kicked out of ENCOM. Now, he started up Dillinger Systems, obviously, right, because if you were part of this big thing and now you're no longer there, you want to remain in that space. You want to, you know what I mean? So started Dillinger Systems, and then we see that these two companies are competing. So it's just like, ooh, okay, right? And now we're at the start of the film. And we understand that something has happened to one of the Kim sisters, right? Tess. And you're not quite sure what at first, but all of that does become clear in the film. Like, because as soon as I saw that, I thought one thing. It's not the case. But, yeah, all of that does become clear. So we have this, and then on the flip, we jump to Dillinger and we see what they're trying to do. Right? And so we have this big pitch, which is in the trailer, right, of them introducing Ares and pitching to the military, right, trying to sell them on this new form of warfare, right, this new form of soldier, which is, right, again, like we've kind of seen this concept in things like Universal Soldier and other films like that, of the new type of warrior and what they can do and achieve, which, look, we know it all makes sense, right? Because if so many companies want those military contracts because there's always some sort of bullshit happening in the world. So if you get in with the military, you can make cheddar. So we have all of this going on. But then we learn that the pitch, not all that it's cracked up to be, right? There's some chinks in the armor, as it were. So we have all, like, so many different kind of things happening, but you can follow it, right? And it makes sense because nothing is ever clear cut in these things. And especially when you think about technology, because there's always this crazy race to launch. That's why a lot of times at launch, there's loads of bugs in things, right? There's problems, and then it all gets ironed out in the following weeks, months, you know? So, man, that it's intriguing, right? Because we have seen parallels of this stuff in our life, right? With, you know, computers, video games, you know, whatever. We've seen all of this. So we have all of this launch, and then we're back with the other Kim sister, Eve, and she's looking into shit. So we have these competing storylines, and that's when, man, it really kicks into another gear. And we see this hunt for different codes and things such as that. But we see this next level of, you know, Tron program, as it were. And that's where it gets super interesting. Because you think about, right, what we saw in the 82 Tron, you know? And then what we had in the 2010 Tron, and what we have here, visually, yo, people, visually, this is stunning. Man, this looks so fucking good, right? And you could look at it like this. The original Tron is VHS, right? Tron Legacy is DVD. And then, right, Tron Ares, this is now like super high def digital, right? That next evolution, right? You could look at it as the original Tron is the Macintosh 128K, right? That's the original Tron. Then Tron Legacy is, right, the Tron Legacy is like that next iteration of the Mac, right? The one, when they brought it back to life with the colored backs and all of that, right? And then Tron Ares is the iMac M1 chip, or whatever the chip is now, M3, right? M4. That is that next level, right? Like, you thought the Macintosh 128K was like, whoa, this is crazy, this is great. And then the colored back Mac, right? It's just like, oh my days. This is funky, this is cool. But this, because I think a story like Tron is very much dependent on the evolution of what we can portray on the screen, right? Because it is dealing with that digital world, the computers. Now, the original Tron worked because, it wasn't long removed from things like Pong, right? You had Pac-Man, right? The graphics was very basic. And I remember the first FIFA game, and you were going from such basic stuff that you got the first FIFA and you're like, oh my God, this looks so real. This is so, whoa, right? Because from what you had previously to that, the jump was crazy, right? Like, Sensible Soccer was the big one at the time before FIFA kicked in. And so the graphics were like, yo. But now, when you look at, FIFA, or what is it, EA Football, whatever it's called now, right? Like, those graphics, it looks like a fucking film. It looks like a TV show. It looks like, your match of the day coverage. And that is like what we now have with Tron Legacy, as it looked just so fucking stunning. Right? And when we have this merging of the grid and the real world, now, here's the thing. You don't want it looking lifelike per se, because it is these constructs from the grid. But it's got to look kind of lifelike, right? So you have this superimposed, like, computer essence in the real world. And the way they did it, it's like this perfect imperfection, right? It looks stunning, but it looks slightly off. Right? It's like you're looking, you're like, yo, that looks so great, but it doesn't quite fit the real world, And that's what it should be. So you're just kind of transfixed by this stuff, like these bikes and everything. And you're looking at this new iteration of bike and ship and everything. And you're kind of like, yo, man, this new bike compared to that original bike that was so iconic, right? From the first Tron, and even the jump from Tron Legacy, this new design, this new look, it is something else, right? It's something else. And then, again, it's shown in the trailer, right? When we have the whole Jeff Bridges, Kevin Flynn situation. So we do get a look, right? That throwback, right? That retro. We get to live back there as well. And the whole, 80s talk and Depeche Mode, and there's all of that. There is something enjoyable. There is something fun about that, right? That the way they put that in the film. So it just, man, there are so many elements that work so well, right? Like, I really did like the fact that the cast was very diverse and it didn't feel like it was this forced inclusionary bullshit that we sometimes see. Because when you think about the computer game industry, it is diverse, right? To an extent, it's diverse. So to finally get to see that on show, right? It just made sense and it was refreshing, right? It was refreshing. It was good. And our characters were great, right? Like, I need to remember these names, man, because yeah, they did a fantastic job. I really thought Greta Lee was fantastic as Eve, right? Who's this pivotal part of the film, right? Jared Leto is, he's a huge part of it, but Greta Lee has to carry this, right? She has to make you feel and believe in, the weight that is on Eve's shoulders, right? The things that are driving Eve. And Greta does do that so well. She really does. And it's man, it's great, right? Loved it, right? So we have that. Evan Peters. Oh, boy. Evan Peters is really freaking good as Julian Dillinger. Because he's like a little manic, right? He's walking in that gray zone. You know what I mean? Right? So it's just like, yeah, this works. This really freaking works, So he does a great. Gillian Anderson as his mum, Elizabeth. Just, boom, standout performance. Jodie Turner-Smith is really good as Athena, right? Cold, calculated, but not evil per se, right? She's just following her programming. So works really freaking well. And then Jeff Bridges was incredible, right? Like, just all these other characters, look, Sarah Desjardins doesn't have a huge role, but when she's on the screen, she's good. Hassan Minhaj as AJ Singh, right? The CTO. Again, not on a lot, but when he is there, it does work. You know what I mean? So our cast really helped bring these characters to life and have you caring, right? Have you caring about all of this stuff? I did feel. Now, without giving too much away, we do kind of get this Jesus 40 days, 40 nights kind of analogy, right, within the film. If you think about it, right, going on a journey, right, discovering what humankind is, what the world is. And then, right, at the very, like, we get this whole kind of fallen angel analogy as well, right? Like the hellscape, right? Like you could say the birth of hell, right? Because that was also another thing, the colorology, right? Right, because we have iconology and we have that in the film, but also the colorology, I will say. I don't know if that's even a term, but people, I'm running with it, right? But these contrasts, right, of ENCOM and then Dillinger, right? These color palettes, the choices that are used are very telling. You know what I mean? Very telling, but it all works, right? The neon drenched landscape of the grid, right, as opposed to the, you know, the different hue of the real world. Just all of these kind of things are really evident, I feel, to the viewer. And it just builds this world even more, right? Builds this world even more. So it's just like these new possibilities that are getting opened up to us and everything like that. Man, like, I don't know what it is, as I said at the start, man. Like, I feel sometimes it's vogue to hate on stories, to hate on films, right? Because, you know, we're going up against Disney or Warner or whoever, right? That's what it feels like sometimes. And then, you know, because a certain reviewer has gone, I don't like this, you get all of these sheep who are flocking to that beat of that drum because you don't want to go against what this person says, right? It's like your idol, your messiah has made a decree. So how can you go against that? Right? Because breaking this down, the story is there. Right? Now, the things that you could say about this film, right? Like the relationship between Seth and Eve, it feels like more of a friend vibe than them being boyfriend girlfriend, right? There's that. And as I said, there are characters that don't necessarily get a lot of screen time, but in the confines of a film like this, you know, it's 2 hours, like literally just under 2 hours. So without trying to make it too long, I feel it does what it needs to do, you know, character-wise and everything like that. So we then get this whole narrative that Jared Leto can't carry a film, right? But I would say the thing that might hold films like this back, because the story, I felt the story was great, right? I think when you consider everyone looking for that next really great IP that world that you can really immerse yourself in, you know, like Star Wars. Tron is it, right? When you think about Star Wars, that legendary weapon, the lightsaber, how cool it is. Well, so many things try to imitate it, right? Even just copy it verbatim. But in Tron, the fights, oh my god, the fights were fucking great, right? Because they're using that kind of disc thing, you know? And it's fucking cool because, they're lit up, right, by the grid that they're on. So we get these kind of color displays and everything, and the fact that hard light is a weapon, and so that's so fucking cool, right? Fights were awesome. The weapons were awesome. Like, this is the story. Everything is there. All the elements are there. So I would say, is it not the case, right, that Jared Leto can carry a film? More the case of, we don't always see companies do a good job of selling the story. I think at times people think that a name, right, an IP can carry itself, which sometimes it can, but when something has been, kind of dormant for a while, right? Because as I say, Tron Legacy 2010, there are people that have been born since who would enjoy the film, but weren't around for the first two, or were too young for the second one, right? So you have to reintroduce the story in your marketing, right? Let people know why this is so freaking cool, why this is, something they want to get on board with. So, I think that's the issue here, rather than, a certain actor can't carry it. Because the cast is great, the story's great, the visuals are great, right? Like, it's all there. It's all there, people. So if you want a really engrossing story with, I nearly even forgot to mention the motherfucking score. Jeez, right? Atticus Ross and Trent Reznor are just synonymous to some of the most, right, engaging scores, like themically, right, the way they build things and everything like that, and they've done it again. Oh man, they've done it again, right? The score was fan-friggin-tastic. I loved that score, right? I'm getting that soundtrack, people. I've done here, jumping on Apple Music, and I'm hitting that soundtrack, you feel me? But even the 80s songs that they chose, too, perfect, right? It was a perfect fit. So, yeah, listen, I would say, don't listen to all the bullshit, right? Think about the things that you enjoy, the stories that capture you. And if you enjoyed the first two Trons, right? The Tron TVs, did you enjoy those? If you enjoyed those, I tell you, people, you most definitely want to watch Tron Ares, right? You most definitely want to do that. If you want a story that really does delve into all of the possibilities, right? All the possibilities of, the internet, right? As they call it, the grid. Then Tron Ares is for sure it, right? It explores, like, I would say, what it is to be human, right? it really looks at that and morality, right? Life, just all of these things, these aspects are explored, like how great power can corrupt. This one really just has you thinking about life as it is when you're watching it. Really, man, that's what it did for me anyway. So if these are the things, right, if these are driving factors in stories that you are looking for, then as I say, don't listen to all the noise, people. Go watch Tron Ares, right? Watch Tron Ares. And if you don't like it, please come tell me, right? Tell me I'm wrong. Maybe I'll give you a refund. Maybe I'll do that. I ain't guaranteeing it, but people, you know what I mean? But yo, I'm intrigued. Let me know what you think of this film, because I thought it was great. I legitimately thought this was great. You know? And I don't, you know, like Joachim Rønning's first two films, not overly a fan. But I enjoyed The Woman and the Sea from last year. I really enjoyed that. Right? And he did Marco Polo for Netflix. So he can tell stories. And he has done that with this. Right? He has done that with this. So people, Tron Ares, this is my motherfucking thoughts. Right? I'm intrigued to know what you think. So, hey, let me know. Because, yeah, Tron Ares, man. Let's go back to the grid, baby.